Hi, this is Lucy at Pilates Birmingham. As so many of you gave me some positive feedback about the seated forward fold video I did a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to do a similar video but on the open hip seated forwards fold. If you missed the first video, I'll pop a link up the top here and you can go back to it. We want to address the same things with the open hip forwards fold that we did when we had the legs together in the forwards fold. And these things are rounding in the upper back, the shoulders and a forward head, and rounding in the lower part of the spine. These are postures that we want to try and avoid because they're postures that we don't want in our daily life. We don't want to be in these kind of hunched forward, rounded positions. So when we do the forwards fold, we want to try and iron out those things and lengthen and straighten through the spine. What you'll need today is a couple of belts. I've just grabbed a couple of trouser belts here. If you do have yoga belts, feel free to use those, but I'm just using things that most people have got around the house, so there's 2 trouser belts here. So we'll just put those to the side for a moment, and I'm just going to show you the most common thing I see in the open hip forwards fold that we're trying to iron out. So when we've got the feet out to the side, the feet can be narrower, they can be wider, and I'm just going to show you from the front and then I'll do it from the side. A lot of people feel like they want to reach forwards and it's like they're trying to get their head on the floor. So people get into this kind of position where they're reaching and they're trying to get their head down, and from the side you'll see what that is doing to the back and to the shoulders. So people are reaching and they're doing this, they're trying to get their head down onto the mat. So first thing is, it's not about getting your head down onto the mat. You want to try and imagine that you're trying to get your heart, your sternum down onto the mat. And you want the range of movement to be coming from the hip and the lower back area. And we want the spine to be straightening away. If the spine is rounding, we're only going to encourage a rounded posture in our daily life when we're standing and doing other things. A lot of the time it's not possible to do that movement because there's stiffness in the lower back and there's stiffness in the back of the legs, and you find that even when you come into this position, you're not upright on your sitting bones and you're slightly tilting back, so you're already starting from a rounded position and then you're trying to reach from there and you're actually moving the stretch into the wrong place. So we're going to try and work with correcting that first of all. I'm going to show you from the front again and then we'll do that from the side so you can see the position of the back. So we'll do it with straight leg first of all, and we'll do a variation with the knees bent as well. So you want to grab your trouser belts and just pop them over the feet. You can bend your knees to do that and then bring your legs in place if you're particularly tight in the hamstrings and the lower back. So let's imagine that we're in that position where we're curling back and we can't get onto the sit bones and the back is rounding. So what you want to do, don't focus anywhere near getting the head down. What you want to do is just focus on pulling yourself upright. So you want to get this movement from a pelvic tilt. You're bringing your hip bones forward. So if you imagine you've got a beam of light from your hip bones, when you're in this position, it's like the light is almost pointing upwards. We want to tilt the pelvis so that we can feel like that light beam is traveling forward. So you're moving from this tilting back position. Don't even think about going forward. Literally just try and bring yourself straight. You want to feel that you've got both of your sitting bones down into the mat, that the spine is lengthening up, the back of the neck is long, and it's the top of the head, the crown of the head, that you're reaching up to the ceiling, and the chin is drawing in and the shoulders are rolling back and down. So this is the first place you want to get strong. Lengthened in the spine, shoulders back and down, and you're on the sitting bones. I'm just going to do that from the side so you can get an idea how that's looking from the side. So we'll imagine again that we're starting from our rounded back position where we haven't got that flexibility in the lower back to bring ourselves onto the sit bones. Use the pull on the belts, bend your elbows in and the movement is coming from a pelvic tilt. You're tilting the pelvis forwards. So it's not coming from anywhere else in the body. It's not coming from the shoulders, the neck, the upper back. It's coming from that pelvic tilt. So you're pulling your elbows back and your focus is lengthening up. You're lengthening up the top of the head, the crown of the head up to the ceiling. You're not focusing on a forward movement. You're going from here and you're focusing on straightening and lengthening up. Shoulders are drawing back and down. Pull your elbows in. Feel your sitting bones on the mat. Feel the space in between the vertebrae. Draw your chin in, tuck your chin in, top of the head up to the ceiling. So once you feel like you get strong in that position, and only when you feel like you get strong in that position, can you then even start to focus on going forwards with it, moving into a forwards fold. So when you can hold this long, straight spine position, you want to keep the spine straight, use your elbows, pull your elbows in, and you're constantly thinking about lengthening. So we're not rounding, we're lengthening. So as you do start to come forwards, your movement is coming from your hip and your lower back. You're open in the chest, your shoulders are back and down, and you're focusing on looking forwards. Your heart is coming towards the mat. So it's completely different from that sort of position where you get all closed in, caved in, that you've got your forwards head, that sort of text neck position, that rounded shoulder position when we're sat at our desk. It's completely the opposite to that position. So lengthen up, work forwards, open the chest, keep your eye gaze forwards, move from the hip and the lower back. I'm going to do that from the side again because it's a little bit easier to see what's actually happening with the lower back and the hips there from this side position. So again, you're going from here to getting strong in your straight position. Once you feel like you're strong in this straight upright position, you're pulling your elbows back and you can see that the spine stays straight. We're not sort of popping into a C shape. The spine stays straight. The chin is still drawing in. The length is through the spine. You're moving from your hip and your lower back, and you're moving your heart towards the mat. So I've gone into it quite deep there. You might find that's just, I've been doing this for years, so it'll take a long time to get into it that deep, but coming to here and being really straight in the spine, it's better than being here. And then you just work on that every week. It will just come millimetre by millimetre, and you'll be working into it from there. Things to do if you are very tight in the lower back and the hamstrings, and you find that you can't even find that flexibility to come from that sort of tilting back position in the pelvis where you're already in a big C shape here, and you can't bring yourself upright. Things to do from there is to actually bend the knees, because you can start working on the hamstring stretch at a later date. You can't really start working on this until you've sorted out your back position. So that's the most important thing. So get your back position set first and don't worry about the legs until later. So if you're in that tilting back position, bend your knees, Keep your knees pointing up to the ceiling and keep your feet in line. So don't be in these kind of positions because it's just going to encourage the tilt back, or don't be sort of here where you've got quite a big rotation on the hip joints. So try and be in line with your knees up to the ceiling and then your feet coming in. Sit your feet down if you can, or just flex your toes in line with the knees. So you're focusing on coming from that tilting back position. You've got your beam of light. Remember, it feels like it might be pointing up here from the hip bones. You're going to tilt from the pelvis and you're trying to come onto your sitting bones and have that beam of light facing forwards. And your focus is to just find the core strength, because it's a lot about core strength, this exercise. Find the core strength to keep yourself upright in that position. So it's going to be working the lower back flexibility, it's working the hip flexibility massively, and it's working the core strength up through the spine, and you're just holding that position. When you do get stronger with it, you can start to walk the hands forward, but you want to maintain quite a straight back. So again, you don't want to go into your C shape, into your forwards head, into your round shoulder. So we'll do that from the side again. Let's pop those out of the way. So all of that alignment through the legs, we won't go into that again. Knees are in line. So you might be starting from this position where you're tilting back, your beam of light is up here, you're tilting the pelvis forwards, shine your beam of light forwards on the sit bones. Focus first of all on being straight up through the spine, shoulders back and down, length through the neck. It's the top of your head going up to the ceiling, not your forehead. Chin is drawing in, you're lengthening the back of the neck. Once you feel like you can maintain that straight back position with your core strength and lower back flexibility, you can start to walk your fingers forwards, but keep that back straight. Don't get into this position. And then from there, once you've done that for a few weeks or however long it takes, and you start to feel like you're maintaining that position, you're straight, you're working with that flexibility, start to just go a little bit straighter and just go a little bit at a time. If you feel like you've popped back into your C shape again, start working at straight up first of all, and then work into it. And just as the weeks go by, you're getting a bit straighter, you're getting a bit wider, and you're getting a bit further forwards, but maintaining that length and straight position up through the back. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you do want some more fitness tips and tricks or any help with injury rehabilitation, head on over to my YouTube channel. And if you subscribe and click the bell icon, you'll get notifications when I release new videos. Good, stay well and healthy, everybody. I'll see you all again soon. Bye bye.